This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, very proudly sponsored by Everlast.
How proud? We've had this conversation before, haven't we?
Well, I am very proud. Would you be proud to be sponsored by
I'm proud of all my sponsors. I'm proud of everybody that supports me. And I'm proud of people that are proud of themselves. Are you proud of yourself?
I'm proud today. Today's a good day.
Is it? Yeah. Not every day's a good day.
No.
But you should be proud of yourself because it's the man in the glass. Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, could I have done any more? Am I comfortable with myself? Am I proud of myself? Be proud of yourself.
Hashtag be proud. Edward.
Hashtag loud and proud. Hashtag loud and proud.
You idiot. Right, should we just jump straight into it?
You want to jump? Fucking jump in. As you know, open book, ask me whatever you like, son.
Okay. Has Joshua signed for Dazn?
Don't ask me that one. No, just okay. The answer to the question is that we've made a decision, collectively, of course, because AJ is the decision maker. 258, of course, his management company, and Matchroom and our minds as well. And I won't be commenting on the nature of that decision. You can ask me anything you like around it, but I will keep quite consistent to tell you that fight announcement first, broadcaster announcement after. And it's obviously been a very long process, and AJ's taken his time, as he always does, and makes the right decisions. And what I can tell you is fight announcement will be fight announcement, everything done. Done. Not hopefully, we've got to tie this up. Done. You will get an announcement the beginning of next week. So no more hopefully next week. You will get an announcement next week, and fight done. And on we go for the Unified World Heavyweight Championship.
Now, I'm no body language... What? That?
You're no body language
I'm no
expert.
body language expert, but I could always tell from your little smug little grin that you've got, kind of thing, that we're now expecting. I know you're not going to make comment on it. We're going to expect that Joshua has done this deal with Dazn and not Sky.
It's not a case of being smug. I will support any decision that Anthony Joshua makes, and this was a decision made around the team. If it was Sky, if it was Dazn, you're not going to see me upset or upbeat either way. Of course, look, we know it would be game-changing for Dazn, and it would just be just a massive signing. But we'll see what happens next week. Again, this is not a decision for Matchroom's business. This is a decision for the business of Anthony Joshua, and that's why the deals have always been separate. So when the time is right with Anthony and with 258, we'll comment on that broadcaster situation. Right now, we're focused on announcing the fight, and that will come first.
You've mentioned 2 dates on...
Okay, what, now? Or... Yeah. Oh, Chisora. Can we do another 3 or 4 minutes on this one? And then, yeah.
Okay. You've mentioned...
Just to say, we didn't cut anything there. If you cut that, you're not going to cut it. You don't need to cut it, do you?
Well, you were talking to a woman about an ITV thing, yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise people think that you cut that and I asked you to cut something out or something like that.
So we'll leave it in raw, like we always do.
Leave it raw.
Yeah,
Always
leave it raw.
Raw as you like.
Raw as you like.
Give me raw. Just leave it raw. I'm Mr. fucking raw.
Okay. Thank you, Edward. You mentioned on TalkSport today, heard you a little bit on there, nice, that there could be 2 potential dates now from the 13th and the 20th of August.
I didn't say that.
Are you sure?
Yep. Run it back, fella.
Okay. Maybe I've read a quote on that then. Have you said that anywhere?
Maybe I did say it. I don't remember. I do that quite a lot. I didn't say that, and then someone sends me the video. I go, Jesus. But I don't believe I said that. But no, the date has been decided. I'm not like, I want, all these announcements should be announcements. I've got the biggest mouth going. So I'm just going to say the fight will be in August and the fight will be announced next week.
Okay.
Told off.
By who?
Frank Smith normally. Why'd you say that? You told me. We said don't say anything. We said this, we said that. And it's just because I sit down in these interviews, Pete, you ask me whatever you want and I just open my big mouth. But that's what you want, isn't it?
I want you to be raw, like I said. Eddie, just before I go on, do you want to find out if you've got to do this thing first and return to this?
Because we're not going to do. Yeah, but we're not going to do our usual hour. Dan, we're all right for 5 minutes with KUGAN, yeah? Yes, sir.
Oh, he's all right. 10. Okay. So, we've not really spoken about this, I don't think, have we? About, oh, have we? I don't know. We do so many interviews with you about Robert Garcia.
No.
In camp now with Anthony Joshua, has been confirmed. How's that going to quite play out in regards to, is he the head trainer? Obviously, we've got Angel Fernandez there as well. How's it working?
The answer is I don't really know, to be honest with you. I mean, AJ will make all his camp and trainer decisions. The senior figure in that camp, of course, is Robert Garcia, how the dynamic works and who stands where and who says what. But I think that Robert Garcia is probably calling the shots because of his experience. And, you know, he's made the trip over from America. He's an outstanding trainer. He's an aggressive trainer. I think he's a great addition. AJ seems to be in a fantastic frame of mind, fantastic place. We're going to win this fight. He's going to knock Usyk out. And then we're going to move on and become undisputed. That's how I feel about it. And I think Robert Garcia is a fantastic addition.
Okay, let's move on to today's press conference. Obviously announced recently your July 9th card will feature Derek Chisora against Kubrat Pulev in their rematch from a few years ago now. Just address the Kawanaki situation. He's obviously been announced on a separate card now in the US.
Yeah, this is a much better fight and a bigger fight, but we did like the Kawanaki fight as well, and that was the original target. Kawanaki agreed terms with his manager, Keith Connolly, and then Chisora, but there was still a few things to tie up contractually. Derek posted the signed contract. It ruffled the feathers of a few people outside of that camp who started to interfere a little bit and tried to stop the fight, and they were successful. We flipped the switch very quickly and somehow managed to get Kubrat Pulev in this fight because he's just coming off a good win and was ready to fight. So spoke to Ivalo, got the deal done, and we moved forward for a big fight on July 9th. A good fight. One of those guys, one of those fights that Chisora quite possibly could have and should have won before, but kind of took place in an era that was the old Derek Chisora, which wasn't as good as the new Derek Chisora, if that makes sense, and wasn't as popular. So Pulev has a big profile, so does Chisora. It's going to be a big night at the O2 with a big card planned. It's a big fight and a must-win for both. All people always talk about Chisora retiring. He's lost to the very elite of the heavyweight division recently. He's sparring fantastically well. He's fitter than ever. And he loves to fight. And he wanted the biggest fight possible. And I think Chisora Pulev is a big fight.
Okay, so you've announced one fight, Madrimov and Soro, they'll run it back. Who else could feature on that card? You said to me Fabio Wardley could be on that?
Yeah, Fabio Wardley could be on that card as well, although the board ordered yesterday the Gorman fight, which is fantastic. Maybe we look to try and make that fight, although Gorman's fighting, I think, this weekend? Yeah. Felix Cash will be on that fight in a big fight against a world-rated contender to move him forward to hopefully a shot at the world title in 2023. Ramla Ali will be on that card as well. Looks like Kevin Agyarko, Jordan Thompson. We're just weighing up who's going to go on that because we also have another card planned for August the 6th that we'll hopefully announce early next week as well. And some other process. Solomon Dakers will make his heavyweight return after his injury as well. And just tying up everything else at the moment.
Have you got a show on December 31st? No, December 31st.
Why?
Definitely not.
Oh, go on.
No, it's not go on. You don't. You actually don't. Okay, well, look. Okay. Sky Bet are now offering odds of a fight between Eddie Hearn and Leonard Ellerbe, with Hearn the 1-3 favourite. This fight on there, when you click on it, it says the 31st of December. So do you know anything about this? Is this something that you...
31st of December? I'm busy. I saw that. Everyone sent me that. 1-3. I wonder what Leonard Ellerbe weighs at the moment, because I'm nearly 16 stone now. I'm like done 2.5 stone. I'm training for this opportunity, not for that opportunity with Leonard, but for this big opportunity that will probably present itself soon. Jake Paul, Leonard Ellerbe, whoever it is, and there is a price, 10 mil. That's the price. And I was thinking about a split because Mike Coppinger sent me.
For who? For Jake Paul or Ellerbe?
Yeah, I guess Jake Paul's the bigger fight, maybe 20 mil for Jake Paul fight. But Coppinger messaged me last night and said, because he had the odds, and he was like, wow, that does over 1 million buys in the UK. He said, why don't you do it for charity? I said, we'll do a little bit for charity, but I want to get paid as well because I'll probably get knocked out. I said, so 10 mil's my number. And if you think about the split in terms of popularity and success, Ellerbe should get 500 grand. I get 10 mil. Easy fight to make.
God. Thoughts on Devin Haney from the weekend? And you can roll this question into this as well. You looking to work with Devin Haney, obviously dependent on what happens when this rematch happens, etc.?
Yeah, I'd love to work with Devin. I messaged him and Bill. Really pleased for him. I thought it was a very smart performance from him. I believe, I only know what you know, in that contractually he has to rematch Kambosos in Australia. We'll see. And then, look, I don't know, I'd love to work with him again. He could move to 140. If he does, he may stay with ESPN. You know, they've got Josh Taylor, they've got Teofimo Lopez. Was personally, I was very proud of Devin, but obviously personally a little bit gutted, because we always talked about him becoming my first undisputed champion for the male side, obviously, because we've got Katie Taylor. And, you know, we worked with Alexander Usyk as well, but really the route to that with Devin Haney was there, and but he had to do it, and I'm proud of him. He was the right move for him, and, you know, he goes on now, and, you know, he'd always get criticism about his style and if it's boring, all that, but he's a very, very good fighter, very difficult to beat, and he deserves it all.
Thoughts on Oscar De La Hoya's comments about you?
Which ones now?
Canelo has a promoter now that obviously doesn't really know the fight game, and he got Canelo beat. I think that's a quote from Oscar.
This is coming from the same guy who put a 22-year-old, 23-year-old, whatever age he was, young, unbeaten fighter in with Floyd Mayweather. I mean, I saw Oscar the other day. Oh my God, someone's offered me $1 billion for my company. This geezer is off his tree. Off his tree. Hope he can get better soon, genuinely.
Okay. Did you watch Inoue and Donaire?
I saw the knockout. He's a beast.
Top 2, pound for pound?
Difficult, because it's hard for that weight division to sometimes get the credibility. I mean, look, when we talk about Canelo dropping to, like, what is he dropped to 6 on some pound for pound rank, I don't understand that. I think Usyk, you know, if you're going to take Canelo off the pound for pound spot, I think you have to put Usyk pound for pound #1. Like, for his achievements at cruiserweight, then at heavyweight. Terence Crawford, great fighter, hasn't really beaten anyone of serious note. Errol Spence, great fighter. Obviously Canelo Alvarez, Inoue, Chocolatito. Yeah, don't know where we're going with this, but would I put? I think Inoue, yeah, difficult without necessarily facing the prime opposition, but he's beaten a lot of the quality operators at bantamweight.
Let's draw back to Wales, Cardiff, sensational, obviously, night for Joe Cordina. What is the situation now? He's obviously got a fight, Rakimov, I'm assuming that'll be his next fight. And then could we see the Shakur Stevenson fight after that?
There's 3 things on the mind. One is the Rakimov situation with the IBF, which obviously we have to deal with. You know, we had an agreement with them in place. Zelfa Barrett, big British fight as well. And of course the gold of Shakur Stevenson, which, you know, I rate Shakur Stevenson as one of the best fighters in the world. Talk about the pound for pound list. He's right up there, you know. But after a knockout like that, do you give anyone else in the division more chance of beating Shakur Stevenson than Joe Cordina? For me, no. And that is the ultimate fight in the division. It's the undisputed fight. It's the fight that's going to set Joe Cordina up for life. I'd like to see him have a defence and build on that success and that confidence that he has, and that will likely come in September, October in Cardiff against Rakimov. Then we look at Zelfa Barrett, and I think realistically you're looking at sort of spring, summer for the Shakur Stevenson fight, but we'll speak to Tony and Joe and map out what they feel is best for his career.
Have you spoken to the teams recently in the last week from either Dillian White or Billy Joe Saunders? You can answer them together as well.
Spoken to Dillian White yesterday and his team on a call. We're going to put some proposals together for him. I'm sure other people will be as well. Would love to work with him and get him back on board and finish his career with Matchroom. This last run and some big fights are there for him. And Billy Joe Saunders, I spoke to his representatives, and it's on us now to come back to him with some numbers, which I'm due to do. And he's, I think, entering camp or in camp, ready to look to fight again.
John Ryder, is that a potential for Billy Joe?
I like, you know, John Ryder now went out, beat Danny Jacobs. We got to land him a big fight now. I think the Saunders fight is a great fight. and it's definitely a fight that I think Billy would accept as well.
I know you alluded to the fact that the Evanesian fight with Virgil Ortiz wasn't going to happen a couple of weeks ago, and that looks to be the case now. There are rumours suggesting that Michael McKinson will now face Virgil Ortiz on August 6th on Dazn. I know it's not really your question, but it's Dazn, so I can ask you.
Well, Michael McKinson is our fighter, so, of course, we made and we signed the Virgil Ortiz-Michael McKinson fight before. Virgil Ortiz got injured on fight week, and then McKinson went out and had a good win over there. So we'd like to make that fight again. I don't know why the Avanesian fight didn't get made, but if it doesn't, then Michael McKinson's ready. It's a great fight. He's boxed over there before, so he's got that experience now. And I'd love to see him get the opportunity. You've
announced the signing of Kid Shamrock in JJ Metcalf yesterday, I believe. Yeah, so there could be some very exciting fights for him.
Again, like 154 pounds. I mean, I love JJ Metcalf against Kevin Agyarko. JJ Metcalf, of course, looking for the bigger world championship fights as well. He's paid his dues. He's boxed Cheeseman, he's boxed Conway, he's gone to Bilbao and beaten Leharaja. He's paid his dues. Time for him to get the big fights now, and welcome to the team.
Thoughts on Daniel Dubois and Trevor Bryant?
Total mismatch. Daniel Dubois will win that fight inside 3 rounds. And that is that. I saw your interview with Don King, or someone's interview.
Umar.
Hilarious. Well, I love the fact he says, all these people's like, Eddie gets his fighters beat. It's like, no, Eddie tries to put on good fights. He's like, I told him, don't fight that Mexican guy. You should have taken an easy fight. I had an easy fight for him. He's actually talking about the guy who's fighting this weekend, Trevor Bryant. And I said, no, it's a mismatch. I'm not doing that fight. We'll get screamed at. I should have done that fight, but it would have been boring. It would have been over in a round. And look what played out instead. But I don't want to make shit fights that are just predictable. So, sorry if some of our great fighters get beat sometimes by taking big fights and big opportunities. I expect the bar to win inside 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds. It's a terrible fight.
Tyson Fury still insists he's retired. Still believe that the case?
I think if Usyk was to beat Joshua, I think he'll stay retired. Because I don't think he wants to fight Usyk. But I think if AJ wins, and I truly believe he will win, you will see the biggest fight in the history of boxing.
Can I get your thoughts on the South African boxer that unfortunately passed away over the last week?
Terrible. Any time any fighter passes away or is injured through the sport, it puts a chill and a sadness through everybody involved in the sport at every level. It's the one moment that brings everyone together in the sport. Everyone who's been around for a long time has seen these things happen. We never take it for granted. We always continue to try and evolve, improve the safety for fighters, and it's up to all of us to keep doing that and make this sport as safe as possible.
Okay. Can I just read you a quick quote before we finish on Derek Chisora on TalkSport? Did you hear what he said? So Chisora was asked about Anthony Joshua and the students, and this was a quote from Derek Chisora. I'd have done worse. I'd have smashed their whole house up. I'd have robbed them afterwards as well. By the way, for people listening to that who don't know Derek, it's very tongue-in-cheek, that comment.
Yeah, he was like, basically they asked if he thought AJ was OTT with what he did, and Chisora was basically, that was his idea to show that he wasn't. But by the way, tonight, don't miss our card in Guadalajara. Kayaguchi against Bermudez, Castaneda against Hernandez, great fight as well. Diego Pacheco, Maylene Rivas, world title fight. Really good show out of Guadalajara tonight. So tune in or catch it tomorrow.
And you will announce Aj-Usyk next week now?
100%. 100%. Done, baby. Let's go.
Eddie, thank you very much. And thank you guys for being very patient.
No worries.
Got to do ITV now.
What, are you doing a documentary?
Probably.
What about you?
It's about my lad say, yeah. It's about the new Bond. They're down to a short list and they're following the final applicants for the next sort of month, see who gets it. So.
How many applicants are there?
We're down to 4 now. Yeah.
Happy birthday as well for yesterday.
Thank you, mate. 43. Wouldn't think it, would you? In the form of my life. Jeez!
Welcome, Team Everlast, to the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.